I'd like to call this Redevelopment Commission public meeting to order. Everybody can please stand for a pledge of allegiance. A moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carnahan is absent. Mr. Rivera? Here. Mr. Recupero?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Present.
Ms. Sheehan? Here. Ms. Haskell? Here. Mr. Bazar?
Here.
Mr. Sharp?
Here.
Mr. Foreman?
Present.
Ms. Sandberg? Here. Mr. Salatas?
Present.
Mr. Austin?
Present.
Ms. Hyduk is present.
Thank you. Well, for those of you who've been to RDC meetings before, you know that from time to time we do various presentations for Explore Everyday community recognition. Tonight we would like to honor Physio Point Physical Therapy. They're somewhat new to town. They're on US 41 in the new insurance building on the northwest side of town. They're ran by Nate Klusterman with a bunch of acronyms after his name, so he must be pretty good at what he does, as well as the founder of Physio Point, and also Blake Anders. He too has some nice acronyms for physical therapists, it looks like. So, and Blake is the clinic coordinator for this office here in town. So, if those two gentlemen are here, I would like to ask them to come up and tell us a little bit about themselves, their business, what they do, etc., before we read through the various awards that we're going to be giving out. It's completely up to you. Okay. And you just maybe talk into the microphone because there are some people that are remote, getting work on it inside Physio Point right now.
Okay. Well, hello. My name is Blake Anders. I'm the clinic coordinator at Physio Point Physical Therapy, right off of 41 there. It's right by 29th Street. Relatively new to the area. I'm actually from Illinois, but I work here in Cedar Lake. So actually, Ralph is one of my clients, so I've been working with him for a while, and he's been doing awesome. So it's a relatively small clinic, but we really take passion in providing world-class care. So if you know anybody who's got some aches and pains, we're more than willing to check them out, make them move better and feel better. So,
excellent. Well, I'd like to present this letter to you and read it into the record for tonight's June 6th meeting. Dear Nate and Blake, on behalf of the Redevelopment Commission of Cedar Lake, we would like to express our thanks to you and your team for the excellent community service you provide to the town of Cedar Lake at Physio Point Physical Therapy. Our town's motto is Explore Every Day. This is multiple meetings, but one of which I'm convinced is to explore the features of the town and linger with family and friends. Your business enables residents and visitors to our town to explore, linger, and visit your friendly establishment, which enables folks to get the great care that they receive from you. During the April 4th, 2023 Redevelopment Commission meeting, commissioners nominated you and your business and wishing you to highlight your achievements. Physio Point's friendly environment partnerships style care supports various activities within the town by providing great therapy for citizens of Cedar Lake and our neighbors, affording them the opportunity to enjoy more of the community has to offer them, especially with the lake in town. Furthermore, your inspirational posts on Facebook and Friends of Physio Point outreach fosters community involvement, which is well received. To that end, we remit resolution of thanks to you and your staff for all the hard work and your hometown values, which align and defines the heart of Cedar Lake and follows the mission of honoring and celebrating families in our community. So thank you for your contribution to our community. On behalf of the entire RDC, we have a couple of certificates we'd like to present. And if you'd like a photo, if you have somebody with you, great. If not, perhaps somebody here can take a photo. If the rest of you would like to come down and snap a picture. Bob would be mad if we didn't do everybody.
Yeah.
I will present these to you. Come on, Nick. You know you wanted another photo.
What's up, chief? I'll make it an exception.
Yeah.
American Pride shirt. Brought the perfect shirt out today.
What's that?
Brought the perfect shirt for today.
Okay, Nick. We gotta wait for Ralph.
Yeah. Okay, we're looking straight ahead, right? And one more. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Sounds good. Thank you. Keep Ralph selfish. Appreciate it. You're welcome.
All these Explore Every Day awards makes everybody want to go out and walk through the woods, doesn't it? So do you live in Illinois now, or do you live in Cedar Lake?
I currently live in Illinois, but I've been looking at, my wife and I have been looking at houses in Cedar Lake, so probably within the next year and a half, I'll be a resident.
That's the right answer, thank you very much.
I was gonna say that at the end, I know that came off as, sometimes Illinois people are not the most well received, so.
Oh, no, that's not true.
I'll take care of you if you come into the office.
That's not true. Okay, excellent. Okay, carrying on here, or moving on rather, let's see, agenda. Consent agenda, April 4th, approval of April 4th, 2023 regular meeting minutes, claims, fund number 404, which was $0, and then fund 804, which is $56,299.36. And that was, Legal, Veritas Group, Legacy Insurance, as well as Midway LLC. Legacy, I might add, as well as Midway, were both facade improvement reimbursements for a total of essentially $25,000 for the facade for Legacy and $19,037.20 for Midway LLC. And that, along with Legal and Veritas, totaled to $56,299.36. Back to the agenda. Do we have any questions on those items that I read into the record?
If I could just make a note, those two facade grants close out now, all outstanding facade grants. God bless you.
Excellent. I think that program's important. I'm glad we started it years ago. It's certainly nice to see tattered and torn buildings remodeled, fixed up, and so I think it's a great program. Look forward to growing RDC funds to keep it going. Do we have a motion on the approval or denial of the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second. A motion by Colleen, second by Ralph. Roll call, please.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Recupero?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Mr. Foreman?
Yes, motion carries 7-0, thank you. Or 6-0, thank you. Under new business, Explore Everyday Community Recognition nomination, do we have any other businesses that anybody would like to recognize that are presently in the town of Cedar Lake?
I would like to nominate Holiday Liquors and Brian Kubel.
Okay, any other nominations besides Holiday Liquors? I think that's a great nomination. He
Been here a long time.
gives back to the community, every fundraiser for cancer benefits, anything going on, so what a great thing. So we have a motion by Colleen,
I'll second.
and a second by Julie. Roll call, please.
Ms. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Recupero?
Yes?
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Mr. Foreman?
Yes, motion carries 6-0, thank you. Still staying with new business, resolution number RDC 2023-1, a resolution to capture incremental assessed values within the 133rd Consolidated TIF District. Rather than me read it, if you would give us an update, Chris, we would appreciate that.
Yeah, so this is an annual resolution that needs to be done by the Redevelopment Commission. This year's a little differently, done a little different. You'll see you have two resolutions. That is because we've broken up the TIF district into two districts now. One that is a US 41 district, which will be addressed in the second resolution as item number 3. The first, the 2023-1, will be for the consolidated 133rd TIF district, which roughly starts after the 41 district stops along 133rd and continues around the lake and comes down to the east side or on Moore Street. That TIF district for 2024 will be expected to bring in a revenue of $1.4 million, and we have an expected expenditure out of that TIF district of $1.38 million.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
That's planning right there.
Mr. Sharp, would you be so kind as to read that resolution number 2023-1?
Resolution number RDC 2023-1, a resolution of the Cedar Lake Redevelopment Commission concerning the 2024 budget year determination for the need to capture incremental assessed valuation within the consolidated Cedar Lake 133rd Avenue Economic Development Area Allocation Area and all matters related thereto.
Thank you. Any questions after Chris's description?
I do have a question
And/or the
for Chris,
resolution being read?
just regarding some of the wording in here. What's the deal with the 200%, Chris? It says expected to, not expected to generate more than 200%. What does that trigger?
If the TIF district was collecting more money than is expected to expend, the 200% of expenditures, we would then be either required to, give it back to the taxing entities that would be entitled to that money otherwise.
Okay.
Very few TIF districts that I'm aware of ever meet that threshold. The only one that I'm particularly aware of is in Whiting, where they have the BP refinery and the multi-billion-dollar industry there. That is incorporated into their TIF district, and so the Redevelopment Commission of Whiting kicks back money to the school district, and I believe they also have to kick back additional money because they exceed that 200%. We do not have that problem here.
Okay. All right, thanks, Chris.
I would imagine the county gets the kickback as well, right?
I'm not particularly
Anybody who
aware.
would be,
Any overlapping taxing districts.
I would think so.
And
That- Is that a true statement, David?
It is a true statement. That percentage is the rails, if you will, to keep the communities using this responsibly.
Understood.
And it's very much in the statute, very detailed.
All right, thank you, guys.
Okay, we have a description, a reading. Do we have a motion?
You just need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve or
Okay.
deny?
I'll make a motion to approve this resolution, RDC 2023-1.
Thank you. We have a motion by Nick,
I'll second.
second by Julie. Any other questions, comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Recupero?
Yes?
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Mr. Foreman?
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Moving on, item number 3, resolution number RDC 2023-2, resolution to capture incremental assessed values within the Route 41 South TIF district. Go ahead, Chris, and give us another explanation, if you would.
So exactly the same as before, except for the revenues expected in this district would only be $50,000, and at this time, we do not have any expected expenditures.
Okay.
Again, this is a new district that we just created.
Okay, Mr. Austin, I have a question. So this year in the State House, they voted on some new rulings for TIFs.
We always do.
And can you maybe give us a synopsis of changes that will be coming?
The primary change in general legislation on TIF has to do with the expansion of the TIF benefit to certain types of uses or improvements residential comes to play, kind of jumps at you, that opportunity may exist by new statute that has been enacted. All of the changes that occur with this is tax law. And this tax law is looked at by the bean counters and the budget people and the technical financial people. And usually they're just small adjustments, small changes, small modifications. None of that has affected Cedar Lake. However, that is one of the things we do awful carefully. Chris, his team, my team, and me, is make certain we're not adversely affected and make certain that none of those law changes that might happen or tweaks that occur will adversely impact us. They won't with this last General Assembly session.
Super. Thank you. Do we have a motion for Resolution 23-2?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 23-2.
Motion for approval by Colleen,
I'll second.
and we have a second by Ralph Miller. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Rekupedo?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Mr. Foreman?
Yes. Again, motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Cheryl.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
so this approval gives the staff and me the responsibility of transmitting to the state these documents, the IDLGF. We also have to give notice to those overlapping units. So I would ask you to please execute the documents if you can. There'll be a signature for you, John, on the letter notice,
Okay.
but we have a deadline of June 15th.
I see. Very fine.
This is also the path to facade improvement.
Very good. Does anybody else up here have anything they would like to discuss, add, comment on, before we go to written communications? Okay. Do we have any written communications, Chris? We do not? Okay. Public comment, if anybody would like to come up to the podium, state their name and address for the record, and ask anything, now's your time.
Terry Broders, 14515 Morris, I'm sorry. I just had a follow-up question on the consolidated 133rd Street district. There was the first time, I don't really remember much on that particular edition. I remember 41 discussed quite extensively. But Chris, on your explanation, you had talked about how far it went, and you said it goes all the way around to Morris. Does it continue on Morris, or will it stop there at where it turns into Morris?
The TIF map is located on our website, so you could view it on our town documents page.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so, anybody else, public comment? We have a newcomer into the room. Would he like to state anything on public comment for the RDC meeting?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, going once, going twice, public comment is now closed, thank you. And presently it is 6:52, so we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much for coming.
Town Council public meeting for June 6, 2023 is called to order. Please stand for the pledge and also a moment of silence. During your moment of silence, please remember that on June 6, 1944, a bunch of sailors and soldiers lost their lives in taking back Europe, actually. Thank you, everybody. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone.
And I will also would just like to bring up Pat O'Hara. They did a celebration of life, I think, Saturday or Sunday. I wasn't able to make it, but he was a very well-liked, very dedicated community member. Todd, you knew him quite well.
Yeah.
And always there to help, give a hand, and he's definitely was Old Cedar Lake and a great guy. So keep him and his family in your prayers as well, please.
World War II veteran.
And
World War II veteran that we lost.
yeah, and then Butch Ectorling, who was from Crown Point but lived here probably the last 25 years. His wife was Maggie. She was a wave in the Navy in World War II. They were good friends with my mom and dad. He is very active at the American Legion up until just a few months back. He lost his battle and just a day or so ago, maybe I think Sunday. Greatest guy ever. I think he was 97 years old. And it's interesting, Rick brings up D-Day. I still remember, it was either Mr. Brindley or maybe even Miss Stevens from Jane Ball. You know, when Dwight D. Eisenhower ran on the coast of Normandy. And that always stuck in my brain. Every year on June 6th, I remember that because my dad was in World War II as well, and as well as my uncle. And it's a whole different generation for sure when you graduate high school and you have no options. You're going to World War II. What service are you going to sign up for? Are you going to get drafted, et cetera? So we're all sitting in here today because of those guys, and we're very super lucky. So thank you all.
Greatest generation. Roll call, please, Jim.
Mr. Carnahan is absent. Julie Rivera. Here. Nick Recupero.
Here?
Ralph Miller.
Present.
Colleen Scheven. Here. John Foreman.
Present.
Richard Sharp.
Here.
I am present. Chris Galata.
Present.
David Austin.
Present.
Thank you. We begin with public comment on agenda items only. Public comment, agenda items only, agenda items only. Move to consent agenda minutes for April 27th, 2023. Claims, all town funds, $626,490.87. Wastewater operating, $65,321.51. Water utility, $121,404.29. Stormwater, $16,988.07. And payroll for May 25th, 2023 and June 1st, 2023, $285,260.54. Tag Day, Knights of Columbus, 6/24/2023, no rain date, they won't be on. Motion to waive the reading of the minutes and approve the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes, waive the reading of the minutes and approve the agenda.
Thank you, Colleen. Motion by Colleen,
I'll second.
second by Julie. Discussion? Roll call?
Julie Rivera.
Yes.
Nick Recupero.
Yes?
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Scheven.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance number 1455, annexation of 2 additional small parcels into Lakeside South. The public hearing was held on May 16, 2023. Chris, Dave?
I take it this is for that small sliver that we've discussed previously within the public hearing. That's approximately 4 acres long on the west side of the Schillings 200-acre parcel on the east side of the community.
Correct.
Thank you, Chris. John, could you read 1455 into the record?
Title only, sir?
Yes, sir.
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1455, an ordinance annexing certain contiguous land to the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, and all matters related thereto.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
if adopted, this ordinance would be required to be published one time. 30 days must elapse before it becomes effective, and notice would be given to all the taxing and governmental units.
Thank you.
I would like to make a motion to adopt.
Motion by
Willing to
Mr.
accept?
Foreman to adopt,
I'll second.
second by Ralph. Discussion? Roll call?
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Recupero,
Yes.
Ralph Miller,
Yes.
Colleen Scheeben.
Yes.
John Foreman,
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. 1455 is adopted. Ordinance number 1461, Boyer, 9720 West 133rd Avenue, rezoned from B1 and B3 to a PUD. Public hearing was 4/21, continued to 5/17/23. Favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on 5/17/23. Ordinance 1461 by title only. Mr. Foreman?
You bet. Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1461, an ordinance amending Town of Cedar Lake zoning ordinance number 1402, being an ordinance replacing Town Ordinance number 496, as amended, repealing all town code sections and ordinances or parts thereof in conflict therewith, and all matters related hereto, and all matters related herewith. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Chris? Dave?
This is a single reading zone map amendment ordinance. It is a PUD zone change that has been requested and processed through our Plan Commission, public hearings, and the like. It's here before you on unanimous recommendation for adoption. If adopted, it contains the exhibits A, B, and C related to legal description, development agreement, development plan, and that's all been checked off by the Plan Commission and by staff.
Thank you, Dave.
So it's an adoptive reading that you're
So
going to
this is the adoption
It'll
of...
be an adoptive consideration.
Thank you, Dave. We've had to read...
I have a question, Mr.
Yes.
President, if I may. Just in reading the ordinance, I have just a question for myself. This was B1 and B3, or two parcels, B1 and B3. Now it's going to be a plan unit development. And in the permitted uses, it's showing B1 and B2 as permitted uses. I know it's going to be used as a bank, but that B1 and B2 is something that was discussed and negotiated at the Plan Commission to allow those two uses for the property going forward? Okay.
Yes. All right. Yes, there are also, I believe, a couple of important contingencies in there as well, that there will be two buildings. One of them we know to be a Centier. There will be an electronic message board that will shut off from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m., and there's a cross-access agreement between the two properties for maintenance of the singular entrance.
Okay.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Chris.
This was a planned signage district, and this item was also negotiated and vetted by our plan. We haven't had very many of those. Correct. Where it's worked out as a package within a package, if you will, and that is what happened here.
There's a lot of detail in that. I went over it today.
There is.
Nice.
There is a lot, yeah.
We went through it quite in-depth
Yeah.
as planned.
It was very well
Vetted.
Yep.
Mr. President, final point, in the event an adoptive motion is made, seconded, and approved, would you consider withholding signatures until the staff and myself can go through the ordinance, make sure no pages are missing, everything that needs to be signed is there, et cetera. We exchanged a number of drafts. I know Mr. Boyer is here. We exchanged a number of drafts, and it's winnowed itself down.
No, we want to make sure everything is in
Before it's
correctly.
recorded, that's...
Yeah, right. Okay, Ms. Boyd?
Yes.
Okay, very good, thank you. After that discussion and reading of ordinance 1461, do we have a motion to adopt?
I would like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 1461.
Adoption motion by Mr. Foreman,
I'll second.
second by Colleen. Discussion? Roll call?
Wish them good luck in Cedar Lake,
Yep, absolutely.
if it passes.
They're already here, they're just in a different location. Roll call, I'm sorry.
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Recupero,
Yes.
Ralph Miller,
Yes.
Colleen Scheeben.
Yes.
John Foreman,
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes, motion carries 6-0.
I'll just say next year, if I join their bank, their money's gonna go down in that ATM that they have there now, because I get charged like $3 on their end and my end every single time I use it, and I'm too lazy to drive to another bank in town that I bank at.
Okay. Thank you, John. Number 3, ordinance number 1462, Lakeview Business Park PUD amendment. Favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on 5/17/23. Ordinance 1462 by title only.
1462, yes, sir. Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1462, an ordinance granting amendment to PUD Plan Unit Development District.
Thank you, Mr. Foreman. David?
This is an amendment request to the PUD plan that Lakeview Business Center provided us and that was adopted by you. Section 1 of the proposed amendatory ordinance identifies the items sought to be changed. These were reviewed by our Plan Commission also. In advance of you getting this, there's a certification of such. I'd like to read these into the record if you don't mind.
Please.
The 4 modifications proposed are: 1, for contiguous lots owned by the same person or entity, the plan allows a building to be constructed over contiguous property lines. 2, the plan allows multiple buildings on one lot with a setback of 20 feet between the buildings. C, the plan allows a building to contain multiple tenants. And 4, the plan relocates the subdivision monument sign from Lot 1 to Lot 16 with the exact location along Wicker Avenue to be approved by the town engineer. The reason this is before you is because it was deemed to be an amendment that required a change of the contract agreement between the town and the developer. These details were important in the consideration of approval of the project plan and the PUD, and Plan Commission thought these were acceptable and appropriate considerations by the town council.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Is
you.
this a single single reading or?
It's a single read.
Okay. We've heard the reading by title only and explanation of ordinance number 1462. Do we have a motion to adopt?
Make a motion to adopt, Mr. President.
Motion by Nick to adopt,
Second, next motion.
second by Mr. Foreman. Any discussion? Roll call?
Julie Rivera.
Yes.
Nick Recupero.
Yes.
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Scheeben.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Hart.
Yes. Ordinance 1462 is adopted by 6-0. Vote.
President,
Yes.
Town council also directed the signatures be withheld pending the integration of these terms into the oversized contract
Yes.
we have with this developer.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. We need to integrate it.
Everybody agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
BZA plan, Lakeview Business Park Maintenance Letter of Credit conversion in the amount of $217,777.62. Favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on 5/17/23. Chris?
This is a conversion from performance to maintenance letter of credit in the set amount. The letter of credit will be held within People's Bank and will be retained in the clerk treasurer's office. This has been reviewed by our attorney, by our engineers, by our public works department.
Thank you.
So these maintenance letters of credit are usually 10% of the overall improvements work?
Correct.
Just
So the value of the public infrastructure of
Got it.
the project.
Okay. All right, thanks, Chris.
Any additional discussion?
Sure.
Not from here, sir.
Do we have a motion to approve the letter of credit conversion?
I'll make a motion to approve the letter of credit conversion.
Motion by Colleen,
I'll second it.
second by Ralph. Discussion?
Everything was checked off by our engineer? That's all good?
And public works.
Okay. All right. That's all I got, Mr. President.
Thank you, Nick. Roll call, Jen?
Julie Rivera.
Yes.
Nick Recupero.
Yes.
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Scheeben.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Hart.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Accept the extension letter of credit for the Perez property in the amount of $4,430.25. Favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on 5/17/23. Chris?
So this is extending the letter of credit, I believe, for 1 year. Yes, expiration will be extended to June 14th, 2024 in the set amount. And this letter of credit is from First Merchants Bank.
Thank you.
What is this letter of credit for?
Performance.
Of what? 'Cause
for-
it wasn't in, I didn't see it in the letter of credit.
There's public infrastructure that will need to be constructed as part of the Perez's, I believe they did a 2-lot subdivision 2 years ago, approximately. And there would be public infrastructure that was required to be installed as part of that. Usually it's curbs and sidewalks.
Okay. All right, thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
It's like the ninth thing down on a sheet.
Because I didn't see the details of what it was.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yes, Dave?
The bank incorporated the extension, or the amendment, into what already existed and gave an addendum page only. We checked
Okay.
off on the letter of credit a year or 2 years ago, whenever it came.
Yeah.
And this is just an addendum to what already exists and which remains unchanged as to performance requirements, notices, and the like.
I wasn't here a year ago, though. You said a year ago, Dave?
Maybe 2 years now.
All right, I wasn't even here. Okay.
We didn't prepare this. This came from the bank.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Do we have a motion to accept the extension letter of credit?
I move to accept.
Motion by Ralph,
I'll second.
second by Julie. Discussion? Roll call.
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Recupido,
Yes?
Ralph Miller,
Yes.
Colleen Scheeben,
Yes.
John Foreman,
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. New business. Consider approval to purchase an easement for trail improvements from Andrew Rickey in the amount of $6,950, and to authorize the town manager, clerk treasurer, and town attorney to finalize the execution of the documents. Chris?
So this easement will be located on 133rd as part of the trail project as discussed, and it will be paid out of park impact fees.
Thank you. Any questions? Dave?
Nope.
Roll call?
I'd like to make.
I'll make a motion first.
I'll
Let's
make a
do a
motion to
motion first.
approve.
Thank you, Colleen. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Julie.
It's gonna be a great addition to our town.
Yeah.
Connect 11 Lakes to this property and someday, it's
Exciting.
gonna be pretty cool.
So
2028, not someday.
So,
Coming.
got a date.
It'll be here before we know it.
Yeah.
It's fact.
That's great. Any additional discussion? Roll call?
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Recupido,
Yes?
Ralph Miller,
Yes.
Colleen Scheeben,
Yes.
John Foreman,
Yes?
Richard Sharp.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0.
When did we start this? Does anybody remember? Bob's not here. I think Ian Nicolini started it,
At
didn't
least
he?
a decade, John.
Yeah, it's a long
Yeah,
time ago.
At least a decade.
Yeah.
Number 2, consider a joint interlocal cooperative agreement between the town of Cedar Lake, Indiana, and Lake County, Indiana, for improvement costs incurred by the town for water well exploration, drilling, testing, and IDM permitting activities projects. Chris?
So I will not repeat exactly the entire process because we're coming to the end of it.
Wow.
But this is one of the final steps in the convoluted county process to get us $650,000. So they.
It's almost redundant, isn't it? Convoluted county?
Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
And this will be for East Side Water Development specifically. Again, $650,000. Once assuming this passes the town council tonight, after it's been signed, we will then forward this back to the county, where they will, I believe, accept the approved interlocal agreement and then potentially cut us a check. We will look to create a special non-reverting fund to receipt this money into, so we can properly track all the expenses related thereto, because the county would like that information as well.
I'm sure they would, yep. David?
I saw signatures for county officials on there. I don't know what else is needed, but I reviewed the documents. They're in good order.
Good, good. Very good. Any questions?
No, sir.
Do we have a motion to approve the joint interlocal?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Julie,
I'll second.
second by Colleen. Discussion?
I think it's great.
Yep.
This is unbelievable. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it is unbelievable. Roll call?
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Recupero,
Yes?
Ralph Miller,
Yes.
Colleen Scheven,
Yes.
John Foreman,
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Authorization to put Moore Street Waterline Project out for bid. Chris?
So, phase one of our Moore Street Waterline project is ready, prepared by our engineers, and we're ready to go out to bid. We need authorization from the council. Just to kind of give you a broad overview of the project. It will go from the well site, the WPM well/lighthouse well on Moore Street, up to the northeast corner of the town grounds, and we'll have an extension west on Constitution. And we have secured, or will have secured, the final 3 easements for this property, or for this project, ideally by the end of this month. So you'll see probably on your next agenda, acceptance of easements for this project.
Super. Only 3 were left?
There were only 3 needed.
Oh, only 3 needed.
Yeah,
Perfect.
the rest is going to be on town property or existing right-of-way.
Okay, very good.
Great job.
Additional questions? Dave?
Good.
Good, thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the authorization to put the Moore Street Waterline Project out for bid?
I'll make that motion to approve.
Motion by Ralph,
I'll second.
second by Julie. Discussion?
I will discuss too that this is planned to be paid out, and I believe I may have mentioned this in previous meetings, that will be expected to be paid out of system development charges, which is the new growth, which are connection charges new homes or businesses pay to tap onto the water system. This was a project that was approved through the IURC that the town had submitted previously under previous requests, and likely will have some remaining payments out of this paid for by the TIF district, which has this project planned in its budget.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Roll call, let's make a motion first. Ralph and Joe, this is the one, okay. Roll call then.
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Recupero,
Yes?
Ralph Miller,
Yes.
Colleen Scheven,
Yes.
John Foreman,
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. I remembered the 6-0. Number 4, appointment of a new member to the MSAFE board. Chris,
I would like
or
to nominate Donna Rosenich.
nomination for Donna.
Is Donna here?
She's not here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Donna Rosenich, by Colleen. Any other nominations? Make a motion? That is a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ralph. Motion by Colleen. Discussion? Roll call.
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Recupero,
Yes.
Ralph Miller,
Yes.
Colleen Scheven,
Yes.
John Foreman,
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you in advance.
Thank you, Donna, yeah. Number 5, approval for fire department's new hire, Todd Conradi, firefighter, paramedic, favorable recommendation for the Board of Safety, from the Board of Safety on 5/24/23.
Todd, if you could come up to the mic real quick. Todd's coming from another department with 17 years' experience.
Oh, wow. Very nice.
He is currently replacing somebody. This is not a new hire, well, he's a new hire, but he's replacing somebody that left. Todd's ex-military as well. He was in the Army and brings a lot of experience, a lot of training, a lot of background to the job, and is, if approved tonight, he will be a lateral transfer from another department, which means he doesn't have to go through the long PERF process and be able to start ASAP.
Okay, that's great, fantastic.
If you guys would like to ask him any questions, he's here for, just to meet everybody and go from there, please.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What other department are you coming from?
Valparaiso.
Oh, wow.
Valparaiso, okay.
Do you live in Lake County?
I live in Lowell, actually.
Oh, wow.
15 years in volunteers there, worked part-time in Lowell.
So you've driven up and down Route 2 quite a few times?
Yes.
Wow.
Winters, everything, so, yep.
Well, great. Well, we're happy to have you on board. Thank you
Absolutely.
for
Thank you very
accepting.
much.
Is that where Mr. Gorbel works?
Correct, yes.
Clint Gorbel, okay, okay. Very good. He's a good guy, too.
7th grade basketball coach.
No, not that Gorbel. His
okay.
nephew.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, you're still fighting for
Yeah, you
You gotta love that. Well, tell him I told him that. That's all I have, sir.
Okay, very good, thanks, John. Any additional questions? Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Colleen,
I'll second.
second by Julie. Discussion? Roll call.
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Recupero,
Yes?
Ralph Miller,
Yes.
Colleen Scheven,
Yes.
John Foreman,
Yes?
Richard Sharp.
Yes. Well, thank you, Todd, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Happy to have you.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Number.
Chief Fisher.
I didn't say nothing.
Did you cough or was it?
I did, excuse me.
Always one in the crowd, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know he would say, right?
Yep.
Number 6, consider a fireworks usage and special permit application for July 3rd, 2023. Chris?
I believe we have the petitioner requesting the fireworks permit in the audience if you want to ask any questions, and then I believe the chief is the one who needs to sign off on the permit if he has any comments on it.
Would you like to come up? Yeah. Just name and address and,
Jeff Bianchi, 209 Lake Shore.
okay.
My comments, Jeff contacted me a few years ago when he was blowing off fireworks off of his property, and I asked
Without
him to
going
stop.
through this procedure?
I asked him to stop doing it, okay, because he was tweaking the law a little bit, so he didn't know any better, so I asked him, if you're gonna do it, let's do it right, and let's do it by the way of the law. And I told him I would never, ever sign a permit from a land show. So he went out and built this elaborate barge.
Wow.
To put it on the lake, pending, obviously, approval. And has made application for all the state permits and everything that's needed. He wants to do it on the north end. So we've discussed it, take a look at the site, obviously, and if the council approves him tonight for the town permit, I'll sign off on the state permit, because I think it'll be a nice display. He's went through the proper channels.
Yes, yeah.
And it doesn't contrast with the Summerfest, it'll just add to the
You'll just say we're not
Summerfest,
3 days of fireworks in a row?
fireworks, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And next year, I recommended him to become a big-time sponsor of Summerfest fireworks shows, so.
Okay.
I asked him if he would do that, he said he would, so he would actually help out the Summerfest as well.
Super.
So,
Very good, very good.
he's,
Anybody have any questions for Jeff?
I do not.
Now, it won't interfere with the other barge that might be sitting out there doing some of the dredging or whatever? Okay, very good, okay.
we'll be out there.
Won't add too much material back into the lake.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion by Colleen,
I'll second.
second by Julie. Discussion? Roll call.
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Recupero,
Yes?
Ralph Miller,
Yes.
Colleen Scheven,
Yes.
John Foreman,
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Jeff, thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
We'll see you next year, huh? Okay. Number 7, approval for fire department's emergency hire Travis Abel.
Council, this hire is also ex-military Marine, former, I should say. Travis has been with us part-time for a year or so. He also has been on our part-time EMT hiring list for quite a while. So this position that became open over the weekend is an emergency hire for an EMT firefighter position. Because we had a list for EMTs, he was next on the list, so I'm asking the council to approve. He will need to go through the whole perf process, so he won't be able to start until then. Tonight, I'm asking the council to approve that process to start, and then, and once he's gone through perf, he'll obviously be back here for, and Todd will come to the next meeting as well to be sworn in. But he has to go through the whole perf process, which 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe in a month we'll be doing that. Very good.
Hopefully.
Okay.
We're currently down 3 people, so
I know.
getting 2 of them back is
Yeah,
gonna be
that's big
essential
time,
to,
That's a help.
It's a help, yep.
It is my opinion, the opinion of the safety board, and I believe the opinion of our attorney, that it's, an emergency situation does exist within the fire department.
I
It requires
would
a
agree with that, yeah. No question, no question.
And this is Travis, sir?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have Travis come up and
Yeah,
introduce
come on up,
himself.
Travis, just, yeah.
And his girlfriend, you gotta mention her. She didn't come all dressed up for you, not.
No, that's right.
Introduce her.
So this is Juan, my girlfriend.
Hi. How long you been with us?
Coming up on a year.
A year? Okay, very good.
And you live around here as well?
I live in Cherville.
Oh.
And, plan on eventually moving down here, yeah.
Okay, wow. Well, good luck to you. Thank you for joining,
Yes.
Cedar Lake Fire Department.
Yeah.
Travis will eventually, attend paramedic school.
Oh, super, yeah, very good, very good, okay.
Good, thank God for guys like you. I couldn't stick a needle in someone's arm. Or run into a burning building for that matter, so thank you for your dedication.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Travis.
Thank you.
Come on.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the hiring of Travis Abel.
Thank you, John.
I'll second.
Second by Colleen. Discussion? Roll call.
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Recupero,
Yes?
Ralph Miller,
Yes.
Colleen Scheeben,
Yes.
John Foreman,
Yes?
Richard Sharp.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Travis. Thank you, Todd. Look forward to seeing you when you're sworn in, so, yeah, very good. Reports, town council, Mr. Carnapone.
I've got a couple of things. Chris, there's a gentleman, his name is Chris Adams, he lives in Meyer Manor. And when we redid Meyer Manor, we put in new culverts, across the front of the driveway. And it's been quite a few years, and the culvert, the ground froze, culvert came up above, popped the asphalt. Year or so goes by, Tim and the Public Works guys went ahead and put a new culvert in. Apparently our policy is, that we won't repave, we'll put grindings, but we won't repave an apron. But in this case, I think we should reconsider because, I feel the right thing to do if we've redone roads and did an apron and then the culvert pops up and needs to be replaced because it wasn't installed properly, it seems to me that we shouldn't make the resident have to pay for that apron. So, but furthermore, I think too, and Tim, or maybe Tim King did the replacement of the culvert, I can't remember, but, that has been put in now, and what is our official stance, what is our ruling on?
I mean, it was
such
a
things?
ductile iron pipe, it heaved a little bit, it was fairly level, we dug it all out, put gravel under it, reset it, and we actually extended the culvert another 20 feet to the west, so we didn't have such a steep ditch to mow, and that was one of those complaints. But yeah, normally, you supply the culvert, we fix we would install it and fix it, but we won't replace the pavement or the asphalt. There was a couple people along that road, they weren't real deep, it was heaved up minimally. We did put millings and we total patched over the millings to make it as good as we absolutely could for what we had to work with.
Yeah.
It's only it's a 2-foot trench, I don't know, at the time we repaired it's been 2 years ago, and I believe that was 9 years after the road was adjusted, so, I don't know how long we can.
Well, we just replaced the culvert though, I think a year ago, didn't we?
Well, we fixed it maybe a year and a half ago, but the project was 8 or 9 years ago.
Well, right, it took quite a while. for it to heave and crack.
It's been a long time, so,
Right.
I mean, if we go with that logic, we gotta warranty every single culvert in town forever. Like, I don't know, it wasn't like it happened, it wasn't like it happened the year after.
Who paid for the culvert to get put in, the town, or did he buy it?
It was a piece of ductile iron, we actually supplied the 20 extra feet to put in there, we bought.
Okay, but what's under his driveway, he bought?
Well, no, because we used to reuse the same.
Oh, I see.
It was
I
so
understand.
good. We did extend it, we gave him an extra 20 feet stick of pipe to make it as good as we, you know, what I mean,
Sure.
I did the best I could do.
Yeah, I don't know, I mean, we tore up someone's apron a year and a half ago, I think we should, next time we're out paving an area, just repave it. So, Mr. Chairman, if possible, I'd like to, make a motion to give Tim approval to do that. And are we opening up a can of worms, I don't know. But I mean, in this case, we changed the culvert a year or so ago. And if we do change a guy's culvert, even if it's especially if it's a newer road project, even 10 years, Tim.
Right,
the reason it popped up is the construction company probably didn't put it in.
Situation, I talked to him when we did this and explained to him the situation before we put it out.
Right.
I mean,
So he was aware?
he knew, and I told him I would bring millings, and we would we would give him our best I could give him without paving it. And-
Right.
And I don't know if you've been by there, but it's a pretty darn nice.
You guys did a good job, there's no question.
I mean,
So,
yeah.
I can see both sides, but since it failed initially, and it was 8 or 9 years ago, but I do know he brought this to our attention a couple of years ago, it took us a
No,
while
it
to get
took
it changed out.
It took 3 years from when I knew about it.
Right.
Before we did anything.
Before we did anything.
It's been a long time, I agree to that.
So, if the council, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to say, sometime this summer, when we have extra pavement, whether it be us or the Walsh and Kelly or what have you, under these circumstances, we pave the apron. So that would be my
We have
request.
to do this twice, can we just do the motion to amend and then or can we that'd be part of the motion to
You need
adjourn?
to amend your agenda to add the item,
Okay, and then vote just on the item?
and then vote on the item.
Okay.
Is this just the trench or
Just the apron, just over the top of the culvert.
Just a 2-foot trench, yeah.
Where is this improvement at?
The address is,
I'm sorry, I wasn't very-
80-something, 126.
you bet, 8221 West 126 Place.
I'm sorry, I wasn't very clear about my question.
No.
Is the improvement proposed to be made or maintained in the public right-of-way or on private property?
Without looking at GIS, I don't know the answer. Any guess?
It should
The
be,
ditch.
it should be in the public right of way,
Yeah.
yes.
If it is,
In the
then
ditch line.
you can legally take that action. The rule of law is, go on private property and fix private property.
Yeah.
So I have a question then on that subject. How many years after a contractor gets a bid, puts in culverts?
6-year statute.
6? Okay. So he probably would have just missed that when he first brought it to our attention. Okay.
I don't disagree with you, John, that something should be done going forward. I just feel like doing this on a case-by-case basis might open up a can of worms. I'd like to look into some kind of policy change maybe. I know we were talking about funding, like we were talking about sidewalk funding, a 50-50 thing maybe. It should be along those lines, because I just see this happening again and again.
Yeah, and I don't disagree, but I think, now that we have a town manager back on staff, I think when these projects finish up, Nick, and it is within that 6-year period that David brings up, then the contractor who won the bid should have to fix it. And in this case, like Tim said, it took probably 2 or 3 years for us to react and make it happen, and a year ago or so, we replaced the culvert. So, without getting out the calendar, I understand your point, and I think in most cases, if we document and execute when these complaints come to the front window, because he's gonna be diligent and create a good list based on what subdivision got reconstructed, we won't be facing this kind of a scenario, I don't think.
Yeah.
So but I agree with you.
Hands on it.
Yeah.
We have a motion to amend.
No, we don't yet.
Yeah, I made a motion to amend.
Okay.
Yes, I made a motion to amend and repair. Do we have a second? Do we have a second? No second, so
Okay.
motion just dies, correct?
Fair enough.
Second. Okay. Thank you. No, thanks, John.
And then second item that I have, I heard from a gentleman on the storm board that we've had a camera that's been broken forever. Can we just give Tim approval to buy a new camera? I guess a lot of people keep coming to storm board meetings and, well, our camera's broken, our camera's broken, our camera's broken. It just seems to me like a lame excuse that we constantly say our camera's broken.
Right.
So, Tim, can you shed some light on that? And if you need a new camera, can we buy a new one? How much are they? All that good
The
stuff.
camera, there's not a broken camera to my knowledge.
At the last storm board meeting, Chris, any info on that?
No, that was a few storm board meetings ago, and I think it was more of a lack of operator at the time, because Tony was...
Yeah, I mean, we did have some work done on the camera van, and it's ready
It's
to
good?
go.
Okay.
Again, we have a lot of storm projects that are waiting to be done, that are approved to be done, and it's just a lack of, we only got so many hours in the day, and the dollar amount that we have to complete the projects we have, we can't pay somebody to do, so we're trying to do, everything we can, plus, the daily things and all the stuff that's coming up, plus the storm project, so those things tend to get down to the back burners of, and people have, I agree, I mean, some people come to meetings for 4 months before they get to, get an answer or try to get forward progress, but, it's been a challenge to try to get these taken care of and done, and we try to, the ones that come up that are super, creating a cesspool or our big problems, we've been addressing as quickly as we can, and the ones that apparently seem to be a little more minor, we've been doing the best we can, but.
Okay, he asked me about it, and I said, boy, that seems odd.
Yeah, the camera
And
is
it's just the camera. The cameras are pretty cheap these days.
Yeah, the
The
camera.
instrumentation behind the camera is what costs a lot of money.
Yeah, all that stuff is functioning, it's
Okay.
all good, so.
Thank you.
I mean, what was needed to be cambered, or do you know, or?
I believe it was for the Keelan's project, which has been cambered now,
Oh, okay.
for prayer and easement.
I don't know, Tim, I just know
Yeah.
it's probably been 3 weeks or a month. And then
And that's
you
just
mentioned it to me again on Monday.
I mean, unfortunately, our sewer guys are the only ones that know how to operate the truck properly, and the last time we let somebody else take it out is when we had the broken camera, so.
Gotcha.
It's an expensive piece of equipment, so.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
It's tough to, you gotta wait for the certain guys to be able to do it, so.
Done. Thank you, that's all I have, sir.
Okay, thank you, John. Any other town council reports? Town attorney? Clerk treasurer?
Council, starting this Friday, Chris and I will be meeting with Corby and Sue and a couple others, I believe, to kick off the 2024 budget season.
I hear that's your favorite season of the year.
2024.
So we'll go throughout the summer, generally what we do in this first meeting is, go over the basics of the sustainability plan, and then we'll calendar ourselves out to, as we get further in the summer, we'll sit down with department heads, and then we'll sit down with council affairs a few more times, and we'll get everything ready towards the end of summer. Then when we'll go into the special work sessions that we've been having the last couple of years regarding the budget. So it's that time.
Excellent.
It's that time. Thank you, Jen. Town manager?
Yes, so myself, Don Oliphant, our town engineer, myself, met with NDOT and representatives, NDOT, and County Engineer Dwayne Alverson, County Highway Engineer Dwayne Alverson. Regarding 151st and 41, they have a tentative plan to build what I was told is called Michigan J-turns.
Michigan left turn.
Michigan lefts. It's a little new to me, but I've been told that they're gaining in popularity. At that intersection, they will be tentatively looking at having a public informational meeting in the last quarter of this year after they start to kind of finalize the right-of-way plans. I believe also AT&T, NIPSCO were in that meeting as well, given that they have utilities in that area. And then they will be looking to finish engineering and go to construction tentatively in 2025, but I'm going to say, given their timelines and how they've been successful at maintaining them, we should look at probably 2026.
I have a question. In Wisconsin, even along Interstate 41, 94, you literally get off the highway and/or sometimes on US highways, they have roundabouts. Did that ever come up on US 41?
Our town engineer did bring up roundabouts. It was thoroughly shot down quickly. And then we also petitioned for a lighted intersection, both the town and the county, and one NDOT representative. But they said that the powers that be down in Indianapolis felt this was the preferred path.
This looks similar to what they have down in Morocco, I think, right around there.
Not familiar.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah,
The left turn on.
Yeah.
You go past the intersection,
Yeah,
to turn left on the road you want to turn on, so you're always taking a right. It makes good sense. They use them everywhere in Detroit.
It's essentially a U-turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a turn lane.
So there's that. Look forward for more information to come and/or that public informational meeting when it's been finalized. I have volunteered the council chambers for NDOT to be able to use as a central location. I put in a request to the county. The town has received monies from a Monsanto PCB class action lawsuit to the approximate amount of $30,000. It's my understanding that the Lake County government received approximately $5 million. We put in a request for $4 million, two for sediment removal, two for alum treatment. So I will be working with County Commissioner Jerry Tippie, County Councilman Randy Niemeyer, and our town engineer will be working with County Surveyor Bill Emerson to try and secure as much funds as we can for the dredge project. And in that light, the dredge project, we have an update from Dredge America. We've had, unfortunately, a few delays, largely regarding logistics. The buoys that they put on the pipeline were stuck out in Ohio. They have been delivered, so they will be pulling pipe and installing the buoys these next 2 days. And we are tentatively looking at Friday as the start date for the dredge being started and removing material. The chief has been amazing to work with, and we've got our drone operators, 3 of our drone operators who are going to be on site for when that project kicks off, so we can get video of both the start of the dredge at the barge and the dredge at the SDF. I've been told it'll take 3 minutes for that for the material to move through the 3-mile pipeline, so approximately 60 miles per hour. It's 6,000 gallons of material or water a minute to hit the sediment dewatering facility. So it'll be interesting to see those first few gallons come roaring out of that pipeline. Dredge America did have a general safety announcement that we will be posting on our Facebook page and all of our media. We will also be posting this timeline that they've noticed a certain number of jet skiers who have taken a liking to using the pipeline as a ramp. That is both dangerous and it's wrong. So they have notified the Cedar Lake Police and the DNR. As the DNR gets their emergency rule in place, anyone caught doing that will be the DNR will exercise their authority to stop the pipeline. Yeah. You are to stay 200 feet away from the pipeline, so ramping it breaks both 200 feet radiuses on either side.
It does.
That's my report.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Director of Operations, Mr. Kubiak.
So we finally received our generator, the new generator for the Robin's Nest water plant. So we've been working over there, pouring some new concrete and getting the pad ready to install it. So that was approved about 9 or 10 months ago, I believe, but we finally have it, and that should be in within the next month, I'd say. So.
Very good. Police Department?
Nothing at this time, sir.
Fire Department?
Nothing either.
Thank you. Written communication?
None at this time.
Okay. Public comment? And public comment will follow the same procedure we have in the last several. 1 visit to the podium per person. Keep it concise and civil. We will answer questions after the conclusion, after everybody's made their public comment. Those rules, public comment.
Good evening. Pamela Davenport, 13035 Schubert Street. Okay, a couple meetings ago, I did address Potawatomi Park. I'm going to address it once again. I get it that the equipment had to be taken out. That's not my issue. My issue is that's one of the largest green spaces we have in this town that's free for the people of this town to use. I use that park daily and have had the past 37 years. I need to make sure that I can still take my dog down to the lake there. So I did question Dale, and he did answer me correctly on it, because I asked for honesty, which is all I always ask for. I was told in a council meeting last year, they transferred Potawatomi to the Redevelopment Commission. We had no input on this. It was right after we were founded. I too have heard the rumors, but have no knowledge of any plans. So I need to know that I still am going to be able to enjoy that green space.
Thank you. Any additional public comment? Public comment? Public comment is now closed. Anybody online, Jen? I'm sorry.
There is no one online.
Okay. Public comment is closed. Who would like to address? Chris?
I would probably just echo exactly what Park Board President Holste has mentioned. This is a park. Any potential plans that will happen to this park will have to go through the process that every single project has to go through, which would be Plan Commission. At this time, it is currently expected to be maintained as green space. We do not have plans at this time to install any new park infrastructure, as the park will go through a master planning process to identify the needs. There's going to be, we assume, out of the certified playground inspectors' reports, multiple other fixes throughout the park system that we need, but at this time, without infrastructure planned to be installed at that location, it will remain green space.
You bet. And the motive behind it was to always keep that area accessible for town residents. Right now, more than half of it is a serious cliff. So if and when anything ever happens to that area, keeping the public's interest is of the utmost importance. I do know that when that did occur, that was one of the most important things that were discussed. And as far as any plans, Pamela, you know, there was some talk of some, I like to say pie in the sky ideas, kind of like what was tossed around at Midway Gardens years ago, and possibly being able to do here, and so on and so forth. But it's, you know, all of which somewhat follows the master plan or follows the master plan. Sometimes it burns us. For example, when we did the master plan years ago, I think 2013, we did a revision. We talked about annexation south and west, and in our plan, clear as day, we went all the way to state line, for example. Even though when we tried to annex south on US 41 corridor, because we viewed back then that that was a growth spot, that A, we don't have to take care of the road, for example, and B, the future growth will happen there. So many people that live west of Magoon, which is as far west as we're going to go, Pamela, it came out in droves. We had a public meeting at the town of Cedar Lake, so on and so forth. So, you know, after some, long story short, we lost the annexation, right? And that was back when it was able to be done involuntarily. Nowadays, the state statutes change and it has to be voluntary annexation. So, but back to your park, if and when anything does happen with the Potawatomi property, it'll all be vetted in public meetings, and there's nothing on the radar short term. So, we don't want to give up lake green space by any means, but in all reality, in that particular instance, there could be a chance that we gain, you know, lakefront. So it could be interesting. So, thank you for the question.
To slide on those cliffs too.
No, I'm with you totally. It's a cool outlook. You know, I always used to say, you know, Pacific Coast Highway, Florida's A1A, and across from Ella Brady, 3 unique roads, right? So.
Okay. This meeting's adjourned. Next meeting, it's not adjourned? Public comment, yeah. All right. Next meeting, Tuesday, June 20th, 2023.